Welcome to the Operation Bohica podcast. In tonight's video, I'm going to give you my honest thoughts on last Sunday's game between my team, the New York Jets, and the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens walked away with a 23 to 10 win over the New York Jets. So the Baltimore Ravens are now on a five-game winning streak. I believe they improved to 6-5. Unfortunately, the New York Jets uh, are now 2-9, and I mean, let's be honest, they're unofficially, officially eliminated from any hopes of making the playoffs this year. But I think that was determined quite a while back with the 0-7 start. Uh, Honestly, the score line 23 to 10 does not indicate how close of a game this actually was. This game was, in all honesty, a lot closer than I anticipated. I anticipated maybe a 40 to 3 blowout by the Ravens. Unfortunately for the Ravens, they did come out flat and they came out relatively unprepared. And there was a legitimate lack of intensity by the Baltimore Ravens. And it showed particularly in the first half. There was no score at the end of the first quarter. That was found that very surprising. The Jets defense, particularly in the first half, let's give it up to the defense. They were very solid. Aside from a couple of penalties here and there, the defense was great. The offense, no big surprise. The offense was just basically 3 yards and a cloud of dust. Despite that, near the end of the first half, the Jets did have their first really good drive, and Tyrod Taylor was able to throw a touchdown pass to John Mechie. And lo and behold, at the end of the first half, the Jets were leading 7-3. Fast forward to the second half, on the first drive of the second half, Baltimore gets the ball to start the second half. They drive in for a touchdown to go up 10-7. Then the Jets get the ball back, and then on fourth down in their own territory, Aaron Glenn decides to go for it on 4th and 3. This was one of the two plays, in my opinion, that completely changed the dynamics of the game. On 4th and 3, you go on a running play to Isaiah Davis when Brees Hall, who had a very good game, despite what happened later in the game, up until that point, Brees Hall had been having a solid game, and you have Isaiah Davis, who, I mean, listen, I'm sorry, Isaiah Davis, he's not Brees Hall, he's not Curtis Martin, he's not even Emerson Boozer, you know he's not even Adrian Morrell, and you've got your best offensive player on the bench. That's on Aaron Glenn. That's on coaching. That's on him. That's on the coach. And then from there, in uh, with a short field, Baltimore scores on fourth down with a short touchdown run by Derrick Henry to make it 17-7. Later on, they get a field goal to go up 20-10. You still get the feeling that the Jets are still in the game, and you still get the feeling that there's a chance. Uh, so as we go into the fourth quarter and into the fourth quarter, Brees Hall is really cooking, really doing well, really giving the Ravens the business. And then the other play of the game, as he's a couple of yards from the end zone, unfortunately, with about 6:50 left in the fourth quarter, a fumble by Brees Hall recovered by Baltimore. Eventually, they get another field goal to win the game 23-10, and the Jets again fall to 2-9. We do have to talk about the positives and the negatives. Obviously, one of the big negatives, man, Tony Adams, unfortunately, because of the injury to Andre Cisco, is going to be starting at free safety. The rest of the season, the Jets got to get rid of Tony Adams. You know, uh, too many penalties, missed tackles. Uh, there was one pass interference. I believe it was on the drive early in the second half to give the Ravens short field position. Ravens score to go up 10-7. Tony Adams he's just not that dude. It's time for the Jets to move on from uh, from Tony Adams. So
Wasn't that the same?
that's the first thing. That's the first thing. Gotta get rid of him. Uh, the deep, like I said, the defense was solid, but the one thing I did notice, Jawan Briggs has been playing lights out for the Jets since he came to the team. With that being said, other than him, no one else got a sack. You got Jermaine Johnson, you got Will McDonald, but they're just kind of hit and miss. So you really don't have a pass rush. So that's something that the Jets are going to have to address going into next season, either in free agency or in the draft. And I'm sure they'll probably address that more so in the draft than in free agency. The Jets desperately need a couple of edge rushers that are continuously going to get after the quarterback. I know Miles Garrett is he's kind of up there in age, but man, Miles Garrett can still get it done. He's got 18 sacks, I believe, this season. So he may end up getting the single season all-time record. Uh, so I'm not saying the Jets should get Miles Garrett, but it'd be nice to have somebody like that. Um, Now, in fairness to Jermaine Johnson, he is coming off the Achilles injury. He does have some snaps, uh, he's spry. He's still got plenty of energy to him, but he's just not there yet. Will McDonald had the four sack performance a few weeks ago against Cleveland, but other than that, you're really not seeing consistent pressure on the quarterback. I know Lamar Jackson is more of a running quarterback, but you still got to be able to get more pressure on the quarterback, and that's something that the Jets did fail to do. The other thing is the Jets are weak at linebacker. Quincy Williams, of course, did have a solid game, but I think after this season, Quincy Williams is going to be done. He did have six total tackles. Jamian Sherwood, 13 total tackles this past game, but in coverage, Jamian Sherwood is a big time liability. So unfortunately, the Jets are pretty much for next season. They're going to have to rebuild the entire linebacking core. As far as the secondary, as Az Thomas, he did have a penalty, but you know what? Az Thomas I think he's solid. He is a rookie. He is going to make rookie mistakes, so we'll be fair to him on that front. But I think Az Thomas is solid. Brandon Stevens, if Brandon Stevens is not like doing the bump and run kind of coverage, if he's not in the receiver space, uh, Brandon Stevens is terrible. He's absolutely terrible when he has to play 5 yards or 10 yards away from the receiver. If he's in the receiver space on the snap, he's good, but he's not a complete cornerback. But the Jets are probably stuck with Brandon Stevens for another 2 seasons due to that big contract. I think Malachi Moore is going to be a very good safety for the Jets. He had six tackles, total tackles this game. I'm liking the defensive tackle position with Harrison Phillips, who we acquired from the Vikings, and again the aforementioned Jawan Briggs, whom we got from the Cleveland Browns. Michael Clemens, in fairness to him, he's not that good, but you don't hear any roughing the passer penalty. So if nothing else, Jermaine Johnson has cleaned that up. As far as the offense goes, Tyrod Taylor, 17 of 28, 222 yards, a touchdown, a pick, which was basically at the end of the game in garbage time. He got sacked 3 times. He had 19 yards rushing. That's about as good as you're going to get from Tyrod Taylor at this point in his career. He's had a solid career as a backup at 36 years old. The reality is, uh, Tyrod Taylor is probably going to end up retiring at the end of this year. Best of luck to him in the future. Obviously, the Jets are going to need a franchise quarterback. I think maybe in the next couple of weeks they should start Brady Cook for the rest of the season and see how Brady Cook looks. I'm not saying that Brady Cook is going to be the number one quarterback, but get him some reps and see if you've got a solid number two quarterback. You never know if the team can rally around him like many, many years ago when the Jets rallied around Ray Lucas. You never know. So that's it for the quarterback position. A really solid game by Brees Hall, but again, he should have been on the field on that fourth down instead of Isaiah Davis. Isaiah Davis shouldn't be on the team. Unfortunately, we're just waiting on Braylon Allen to come back from that injury. Um, they might just shut Braylon Allen down for the rest of the season. That might be the smart thing to do. But Isaiah Davis is not that dude. Brees Hall, 16 of 40, 16 carries for 44 yards. Really good in the receiving game. Four receptions, 75 yards. Unfortunately, uh, one of those carries that big fumble. But you did notice the solidarity between offensive players and defensive players going up to console him. You also had Coach Aaron Glenn ready to console him. Uh, he's been very quiet relatively since the fact that he did not get traded. He hasn't been a malcontent. He's been a good soldier, and it definitely looks like they are going to put the fifth-year option on him. And it looks like Brees Hall will be a Jet for the considerable future. And it's also looking like he is going to be absolutely the man whom the offense revolves around. Obviously, with the injury to Garrett Wilson, the Jets are he is the best offensive weapon that the Jets have. Unfortunately, he had that fumble. If he had scored, it could have been 20-17, and who knows? Who knows what would have happened towards the end of that game? As far as the receiving core goes, uh, they still need to get Mason Taylor more involved. He did have three catches for 21 yards. Got to get him going. I think he's been a bright spot this season. I think also John Mechie, six catches for 65 yards, including a touchdown. I think at worst, I think the Jets have found their number three receiver. If you can keep John Mechie, man, he was solid. He was making plays. He knew where he was supposed to be on the routes. Good game for him. Adonai Mitchell had a big 26-yard catch, two catches for 42 yards total. The jury's still out on him. Uh, he, he's got the speed to be a deep ball threat, but he's got to catch the ball. And I'm saying that going back to that game a couple of weeks ago against the Patriots, where he missed that bomb that Justin Fields threw. Again, the jury's still out on Adonai Mitchell, but I'm sold on John Mechie. Um, Hopefully, when Garrett Wilson comes back, we'll have a really good 1-2-3 punch of Garrett Wilson, John Mechie, and Adonai Mitchell. So let's see. I got to give props to Jaron Muji. I mean, he got Jawan Briggs in, got Harrison Phillips in, was able to bring in Mechie, was able to bring in Mitchell. He's bringing in guys that wanna play football, that are football players, guys that are not soft, guys that are willing to get after it. So I give props to Darren Muji. Aaron Glenn got to get better with the in-game decisions and the in-game management. Has there been some slight improvement? Yes, but we still got a long way to go. Unfortunately, this is another lost season for the New York Jets. Now you just have to evaluate the young talent that's there, and there is some young talent there. Like I said earlier, got to rebuild the entire linebacking core. Let's see what Kiko Magua, I believe, has how you pronounce his name, the rookie out of Miami. Let's see if he's got a future with this team. But I think it's over for Quincy Williams, even though he's still playing great. I think his time as a Jet will be done after this year. I think Jamie Sherwood, who again is a casualty, he is a casualty in pass coverage. I think he'll be done after this year. Props to the special teams. Austin McNamara. The Jets they found their punter for years to come. He's really good. I don't know if Nick Folk is going to be back as the kicker next season, but he's had a great year. But we'll see what the Jets do with the kicking position. They might bring him back for one more year. Nick Folk is pushing 40. I believe Isaiah Williams has been a good kick and punt returner. So there's bright spots on this roster. The offensive line, I thought, played relatively well. You've got a good future with the two bookend tackles, Ola Fashanu at left tackle and the star rookie, Ahmad Membu at right tackle. Joe Tippmann, he had a penalty in the game, but I think he's good at right guard, or you can move him back to center next season. Josh Myers at center hasn't been that great. John Simpson at left guard getting penalties as well. So the Jets might want to see what they can do about rebuilding the middle of the offensive line, even though the offensive line again has been good for the most part this season. I don't think you're going to draft a guard or a center in the first round, maybe in the third, fourth round, and see what you can do about getting some depth and getting some starting offensive linemen in a free agency. But I don't think offensive line is really the big weakness of this team. I think what the Jets are going to need, obviously, the franchise quarterback, and I think the Jets are going to do whatever they need to do to try to get Fernando Mendoza. As it stands now, the Jets are picking fourth in the 2026 draft. Tennessee will have the number one pick. The Giants, the New York Giants, will have the number two pick. Neither one of them are going to need a quarterback. You've got Tennessee with Cam Ward. They're committing their future to him. The Giants, they've got Jackson Dart, who I would have loved for the Jets to have drafted, but they didn't. So, the Giants are going to commit their future to Jackson Dart along with Cam Scatterbo at running back. And then you've got New Orleans. I think Spencer Rattler had been the quarterback. He was like 0 and 11 as a starter. I don't know who the starting QB is for the Saints. So the Saints are probably going to be looking to draft a quarterback as well. So I think the only way the Jets could get over on the Saints, they probably have to lose the rest of the games, including the game against the Saints, or after the season's over, see if they can move up in the draft. They've got two number ones and two number twos. Maybe they can move up with the Giants or with Tennessee to try to get Fernando Mendoza. And, the Jets have probably got the capital to do so. That's probably going to be their best bet, but we'll see. So those are my thoughts as far as the New York Jets losing to the Baltimore Ravens 23-10. No surprise that they lost. With that being said, they were competitive. They showed fire. You can tell they wanted to win. They were doing what they could. Unfortunately, a couple of bad breaks here and there. So what I will say, even this deep into the season, even though the Jets are out of the playoff picture, they have not given up on Aaron Glenn. So you do have to give Aaron Glenn props for that. He is keeping the team motivated. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Steve Wiltz, the defensive coordinator. He's got a history of kind of wearing out his welcome, having a lot of short tenures. They may let him go after this year. We'll see. I think Tanner Engstrom stays. Uh, I think really the big deal with the offense, you need obviously that franchise quarterback, and also you're going to need a number two receiver, just in case Adonai Mitchell doesn't work out. But as far as John Mechie, I really believe that he can at worst be the number three receiver. And then you've got Garrett Wilson coming back, so we'll see what happens. The Jets are going to be playing the Atlanta Falcons this weekend at home. They're probably gonna might lose that game, but you just never know with the New York Jets. So again, those are my thoughts for the New York Jets versus the Baltimore Ravens. This has been the Operation Bohica podcast, and I am out.